I want to quickly show you how I rinse off my pattern before we finish. Depending on what kind of pen you've got, like this pattern here, I've used a black palette friction pen, and you can just blow a hairdryer on it, or actually I iron it. I don't have a hairdryer at the studio, so I just use a little, I actually use a little Cricut Easy Press. So that's how you get rid of those pens. I can't remember who it was. Was it Stacey? Posted in the group today to say that she had used a purple air erasable pen, which just comes off in the air, kind of like that Pilot one does. But some of them come off without even too hotter air, and they can come off while you're stitching along. But yeah, so if you've got an air erasable pen, you'll just need to check what the instructions are, but I'm guessing it will just be hot air. So that's easy. If you have a water-soluble pen, like the ones in our kits, then you just need to rinse it off. So don't be worried about getting water on this. So just to recap, you could use like a cotton bud and dab over it. I'll just show you. Like if I just drip, let's just say on number 5, if I just drip some water on it, like it basically will just disappear instantly. It's really cool. But you could go through and do that on your pattern. What I've found from my experience is I just kind of think you're not actually rinsing the pen off, and then it'll dry. And what do you know, there's like blue around the edge of where the waterline is. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes it works fine. But sometimes, especially if you've drawn your pen on really thick, I think it just kind of spreads it out and it disappears while it's wet, and then it's there when it dries, which is a total pain. So I just get mine and literally hold it under the tap really gently. Don't use really hot water, just like lukewarm water. And yeah, just do that, and then you'll just see the pen disappear. If there's any spots where it's still showing, I just gently nudge it with my finger, and then I will pat it dry, like put it on the bench, like on a tea towel, and then put a tea towel on top and just pat it dry. And then I just leave it to dry flat. And then this is assuming, so I always put my designs back into hoops to frame. So once it's dry, like I'm putting it back under tension in the hoop, and any creases are gone, and it just looks great again. But, and I've seen my members like hanging these out on the line and things. And I personally don't iron them, but I think you could. You just protect it and make sure you don't have the iron too hot, and then you could iron the fabric. But I just am a bit cautious around the stitches. But I mean, it's a display piece. It's all secured with knots on the back. Yeah, I think you can feel free to put it under the tap under some gentle water. So I'll show you that now. If you washed it quite a lot of times, the threads can get a little bit fluffy. So for example, on this lady here, this is a little technique which I call a satin stitch tunnel, where you use a pen and you wrap it around the pen to get that like cylindrical shape. Can you see it there? And then when I've wet that, it's got a bit out of shape when it's dried. So I put the pen back in to dry it, or I rinse off all my pen and then I do the tunnel at the end. So wetting your threads can affect the shape, and you wouldn't want to be like rubbing it hard because the threads do get a little bit fluffy. You know, you want to be gentle, but you don't have to be worried about wrecking it or anything. Just, yeah, common sense, really. Okay, so I have just prepared this little water bath here. Got my drink bottle. I just leave mine in the hoop when I rinse it off, probably because I'm being lazy and can't be bothered taking it out, and it's just a plastic hoop anyway. This is just pretending this is a tap. So it's like magic. Oh, you can't see it because the water bottle's in the way. Hang on. But can you see the design? So like you can see there, it's all gone. Let's give it a bit more just to rinse any of that pen away. Yeah, I mean, I've given that a good dousing, so I can't see any of the pen left. But if it was, you can just kind of gently push it. So if I was at home now, I'd just gently press that with a tea towel to get out all the like the excess water, and then I'd let it dry. So I'm not an expert at this. You guys might have tips, some of you who have been embroidering for a while, on how you do it, which I'd love to hear. But that's how I do it. It's worked well. I've once had someone in our group found that the thread from her DMC ran, which they shouldn't do. Like, they're color fast, they're not supposed to run. But we figured out that we think she'd used really hot water, or she was in a bit of a mum haze of late nights, kids up all night, and she couldn't actually remember if she'd used hot water, but possibly had. And we ended up fixing hers with some really, really slight washing powder, and it got the stain out, and it was good to go. So yeah, I think if anyone's got any tips, please share them. But yeah, just go for it. And if you do that tonight, then it might dry overnight, and you can share a picture of it all finished in the morning.